implement AI everywhere. It's easy to adapt.
From Russia. Kate.
Some daily rituals make my life easier. Thanks everyone, thanks for having me today. That's natural.
No, it's not. Hello everyone, welcome to our next episode of Talk2TheTop podcast, where we speak with people who are focusing on personal development and growth and excellence. And today we have our beautiful guest, Kate from Russia. And we'd like to ask her about her experience because she lives in Spain. She graduated MBA 2 years ago and she works in, but where she works, she will tell us herself.
Thanks for inviting me today, Cherry Margarita. Yes, so my name is Ekaterina Vedenchuk. I'm working in IT industry as a manager of software engineering. Right now, the company has a lot of offices in all over the world, and my department is especially based in Spain.
Thank you for being on our show, Kate. It's nice to have you here. So as you mentioned, you've relocated to Spain, formerly from Russia. So obviously there's a distinction between relocation and immigration. So in your case, what was it? Was it more for immigration or relocation in terms of the company and the country?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I found a big difference between relocation and immigration because I was moving a lot of times in all of my life. I lived in Japan, in Germany, in Italy twice, and now I live in Spain. I also live in Russia. And for me, of course, when it's your conscious choice, it's migration, right? But when company moves you because of company needs, it's another story. Because first of all, company wants to keep the same productivity and the same efficacy of their labor, right? And once I moved to Spain, for me it was mainly about relocation because I couldn't choose any country in the world where I would like to live. But if you're talking about Italy, when I did my MBA here, it was mainly about immigration because I like the Italian cuisine, I like the Italian mentality, I like Trieste so much, and especially about nature because Trieste is surrounded by beautiful sea and mountains, and sunset is a wonderful one. Yeah.
And definitely different contrast from Spain to Italy, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. Actually, south of Italy is more about Spain, I would say. But the north is another story, and Trieste is in the north. Yeah.
And it is a beautiful city, so I'm
It
sure
is.
it feels like your second home, or your
Yeah.
third.
It's true, it's my second home, I would say.
I think Trieste is in your heart.
Yeah, it is.
Because you are saying about that with so warm emotions. It's nice to hear how you traveled by work, by study. So Italy, Spain, you came from Russia. But what helped you to adapt for that? Was it challenging? Especially, okay, I understand you love Italy, but traveling or being short time is one thing, but living and organize your social community, your life is another very hard part of that process. And what helped you to adapt and to organize your life like that? Was it challenging?
I think, yeah, it was, and it's still challenging, but I can definitely say that some daily rituals make my life easier. For instance, if you like to have a cappuccino every morning from your lovely cup, you have to do that, right? You have to do that. Or, for instance, if you like to walk around near the beautiful park or in the park or near the lake, so you need to choose your home, your apartment near that spot. Because otherwise you will struggle a lot and probably you will be pissed. But it's better always to find something that you like daily. Some standard rituals that you will implement from time to time. Yeah.
What kind of rituals you have exactly? Can you give us some examples?
Well, my daily rituals are first always have my, as I already said, a mug, right? As the same coffee machine, I would say. Um, Maybe call my friends in the morning. It doesn't matter where they live right now, because I have a lot of friends in IT industry and they work from US and from Thailand, from Singapore. Um, every Saturday is more or less the same, and it's also important. So maybe you do not have daily things, but at least weekly things that might help you. And of course, to be adaptable. I mean, if you want to adapt in this country, you need to talk with locals. You need to integrate it somehow. Maybe not in the local language, but at least in English. And it's possible.
And I'm sure this helped you, as you said, adapt from one country to the next, because I know you've lived across many countries. And I mean, obviously relocating and relocating for work, especially, you have to immerse yourself in different cultures. Especially with the local culture, but also other multinationals coming in as well. So, how does your do you ever get like homesick when it comes to Russia or maybe other countries that you've lived in, maybe friends you've friendships that you've created in those countries, and how do you deal with those? I know you said you have your rituals and stuff. If you can just share those experiences, maybe for someone that has similar experiences, and might need to have some sort of techniques or resolutions in order to overcome those.
So basically, the one thing that always helps is to find people with the same conditions. So for instance, if you relocated or if you immigrated, try to find someone else who is also in the same status right now. Okay, if you need to manage some documents in Europe, okay, find someone who already did it. Open partita open autonoma, or maybe permit of stay because of the work or because of the study, whatever. Alright, as a second point is to find a local friend who is going to show you, or maybe even dating, or maybe even Tinder, whatever can help. Just to spend this evening with a local guy, with a local girl, who will explain, okay, in this city you can come pam 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 pam. Already, you know something about the spot, you know, and you understand. Once you understand why this system in this country works like that, it's easy to adapt and easy to understand.
And I think locals are key in terms of building those friendships, just in terms of bureaucracies within the country, also connecting or networking with other friends that they may have. So I think that's quite a strong point, especially when we came to Italy, Margherita. I think, connecting with the locals and letting them navigate and, guide us through the city and help us with the systems and processes and so on. I think that's very useful as well.
Yeah, I agree, and we also have the same experience. And also, if to follow your advice, to find someone on Tinder to have a dating, it's like to kill two birds with one stone. You have a romantic experience, and also some advices from locals how to manage your life.
Always. Yes. And actually, one of the best things in Trieste is this international community is everywhere. Here's a lot of universities, CISA, ICTP, Trieste School of Management, and etc. And almost everyone speaks English here, and it's wonderful. Yeah.
What about that situation in Madrid? Because Madrid is the capital of country, and what's with language, with English experience beyond the company, beyond the workplace?
So in Madrid the situation is different. Unfortunately, I like it because the main relocation guys, the main immigrants to Spain are from Latin America, and they also speak Spanish, right?
Yeah.
In Italy, it's another story because the north of the Italy is located near France, Austria, Germany, Switzerland, and in this case, people are moving from all over the world. Also, from people from Serbia, people from Croatia are moving here from Slovenia, and it's a mix of the cultures, and you can see that even in the way how they speak. Yeah, I would say in Madrid, the situation is a little bit more complicated to find your community, especially if you do not speak Spanish. But Spanish is one of the easiest language, so you can easily learn it and start communicate with locals, that's for sure.
That's what they say, and Spanish is quite an easy language to learn, or easier than other languages. How many languages do you speak though, Kate?
Because this question.
But it's really interesting because could be insightful or even point of view for people who would like to relocate, immigrate, and worry about level of language or if they whether they speak local language or not. And what is question is it a main requirement to know local language in Spain, for example, in your work environment?
In my work environment, definitely no, because the company where I work has a lot of offices all over the world, of course, and our main language is English, right? So you do not need Spanish to communicate with employees. But of course, it's just in case if you're talking about Madrid, because Valencia, Malaga, Barcelona have a lot of tourists and people speak English there. The sectors are different there if you're talking about where you would like to work.
Okay. And speaking about the area specific of your work, you said that you work for R&D department,
Yes.
the part of the business of that big international company. And I guess suppose that mostly in that direction, that department, it's about technical specialists, and of course most of technical specialists are men. And what about to be a woman leader in such kind of industry? Because you said that you have a managerial position, and also you mentioned about your previous international experience to work in different countries. I think it's also about leadership because you did interesting and very challenging job in other countries, right? So now we speak about leadership for women. How is it in your company now? So it's international company. What's about women leaders in your company and technical part?
Well, I will say the percentage is not that high that probably women would like to see. That's for sure. Just maybe some statistics that I know. It's around 30-35% of women in the leadership position all over the world in different sectors. In the technical and the engineering segments, the number is definitely lower, maybe around 18-20%. In my company and research and development department especially, we do have women in manager and senior manager positions. But I would say it's mainly about other departments. For instance, HR, sales, marketing. You could find more women, that's for sure. But one of the main things that I would like to highlight is company is not having this European trend. One of the best things in my company is that company respects the religion, the gender, the nationality, the age. So they do not focus. They do not focus that much on that, and you can see more or less balance. That's for sure. But if you're talking about engineers, mainly men are working there. That's for sure.
So this standards of ESG, which is one of the main standards in European countries, the company is follow this.
As I understand, it's one of the rule to satisfy these requirements. That's for sure. And usually, when you hire someone, you have a filter, okay, so it's time to close by, I don't know, 5%, this position by this gender, by this nationality, by this age. Of course, it depends on the market. Sometimes it's hard to reach, sometimes it's not, but still, it's always better to keep it equal. Yeah.
And I think that's happening across a lot of the big multinationals, where they have to keep some sort of equity when it comes to gender, race, ethnicity, just to keep that balance. And yeah, so I think it's also nice to see, just in terms of the women percentage in management as well. That also helps with the numbers when it comes to these big companies.
And I hope, hopefully, that the standards really create a comfortable and but comfortable atmosphere for people.
Environment.
Environment. And speaking about trends, we can't avoid the question of AI trends, because if we speak about IT industry, medical industry, we touch the high-tech part of technologies. So the high-tech technologies, it sounds like it's the same words. Okay. If we speak about the IT industry, medical industry, we can't avoid using to mention AI trends. And we know, according to statistics, last year almost 300,000 people were laid off from IT sector. And now we can notice worries about how people will work in that industry after implementing AI solutions, because we can see the very high speed of developing that technology. How is it in your company? Do you feel how do you feel AI impacts on your, especially if we speak about R&D department?
Yeah.
And should people worry about that the AI substitute IT engineers? What do you feel about that? How is it?
Substitutes?
Substitute, yeah.
Yeah, no, well, basically AI, of course, is everywhere right now, but just to remind you that the company where I work is mainly for medical devices, right? So we work in the healthcare segment, so we cannot implement AI everywhere in our software engineering just because it's like that, because otherwise we play with people, right? In medicine, so it's not the best solution.
So, just in terms of your experience and your development, where do you see yourself going forward? In the foreseeable future, and how do you see your career path projections, just in terms from a personal and professional development point of view?
Yeah, well, I still consider myself in IT sector. Produce any product useful. So basically it means when you take any kind of projects, you need to be sure that it's going to be used, it's going to be effective, it's going to be productive. But at the same time, we need kind of feedback from our customers, users, clients that, okay, why do we do that? So why do we do this continuous improvement? Why do we develop a new, continuous, innovative product, right? And in this case, I'm slowly moving, I would say, to my personal free time, to the marketing segment to understand, okay, so where can we sell this idea? Where can we sell this product? So what exactly do we need? How exactly do we need? How exactly it's going to use to understand some user scenarios better. Yeah, it's mainly about business. It's mainly about understanding what customer need. At my free time, at the same free time. Yes, unfortunately, we have only one free time. Yes, I'm considering different projects and investments as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, you said about investments, about like your personal interest, your side projects, but investments is so bright topic. But what kind of investments? What is area? What is? Can you tell us more details about it?
Yeah, I understand the question. So basically, right now I'm considering different abandonment constructions building that was not used for a while. It might be some plants, it might be some offices, it might be even some apartments or even old hotels. So basically, why they are not working right now is because of the financial situation of the real estate developers is the first point, and another point is because the owner is a governance right now, and it's hard in terms of mitigation, but it really works in terms of money, because if the building was not used for, hasn't been used for 14 years, or even 40 years, it doesn't matter. So it's hard to buy, but again, in terms of communication. And it could be nice to restore the facades, restore the functionality, restore the appearance of this building. This building, other building doesn't matter. And yeah, bring something beautiful to this life. That's one of my hobbies in the pension, that's for sure.
If I understand correctly, your mission, your purpose is to keep and to save and keep beauty of buildings.
Yes,
beauty around us.
Yeah, maybe buildings, maybe pedestrian roads nearby. That's for sure. Yeah, something that I can change in my hometowns, let's say, because definitely it's more than one spot in the world, and yeah, I would like to bring something, to change something, at least also for the people who want to stay there. Yeah.
Sounds good, and I think Trieste has an impact on your idea. I just guess. Sounds very inspiring, by the way, and I really wish you to have good luck in that way.
Thank you. What about rewards?
Oh yeah, thanks Kate for that, for sharing. So just to conclude, can you describe your any experience, whether it be your experience at MEB or your experience at work or just in general life, any 3 words that you can share, that tells us more about you, but just a summarized version.
And probably like how you feel now and about future, like your vision, 3 words.
So in terms of career, I will say it's a business development, even in IT industry. So if you do the product, okay, understand also the business side of that. The second one is partially hobby, partially something else is investment. And the third one is a country exploration. I would like to travel more and more, and I'm trying to do it monthly. Yeah. Thank you.
Very nice. It's really, it's really reflect not only your future vision, but also all the way which you shared with us. Thank you so much for being with us, for sharing your thoughts, your experience. It was a pleasure. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you so much, Kate. It was nice having you here, and hope to have you back again soon.
I hope. Tracy is in my heart.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.